what's going on, guys? This is Brandon, Classic Physique Collective, and today I'm going to be bringing you the preview of the 2022 Hurricane Pro in Men's Classic Physique for this weekend, Saturday, October 22nd. So the show is going to be in St. Pete, Florida. Classic guys should go on for prejudging sometime around 11:30. They go on second after Men's Physique, and then the show is going to wrap sometime probably around 5 or 6 o'clock. Finals will start at 3:30 Eastern time, so have that on your radar. I'm not aware of a live stream yet. If I find one, I'll be sure to link it down in the description as well as on my Instagram. If you want to catch all the latest Classic Physique content, check me out on Instagram at CPC Bodybuilding. You can find that handle in the description as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to it. So a lot of these guys have competed already this year, so we're going to see some familiar names. So we've got Jorge Tibet from Spain, Adeli Anara, who we've seen a couple of times. We saw him in Tampa, we saw him at Savannah. He's going to be a guy to watch. Sally Bacage, one of my favorite guys. Anthony Barbera III, I'm really looking out for him. He finished pretty well at the Warrior Classic earlier this year. He took fourth at that show. We got Michael DeAngelis, Toto Jong, who's making his classic debut down from 212. Then Jean-Marie Airy, David Geller, I'm hoping I'm not butchering that. Zanyar Gotterport is making his, I think, 5th appearance. He's been competing a lot this year. A couple of top 3 finishes. Zanyar is another guy I like. Tyson Hammery, Ryan Harrison, Keith Holmes, Alverny McGee, who won the 55-plus division at the Daytona Beach Pro. Then we've got Fong Win, who's really an awesome classic physique competitor. He finished 3rd at Legion last week. A lot of muscle on his frame. Very impressed with him. I unfortunately left him out of my top 10 and am regretting it. So shout out to Fong. Then Samuel Paquin, who is a guy I'm very intrigued to see how he performs out of Canada. A lot of hype surrounding him. We'll see if he's the real deal, I guess. One of my favorite guys, probably in all of Classic, is Marcus Perry from my hometown of Columbus, Ohio. Marcus last competed in his pro debut at Tampa. That was last year. Marcus is a guy to watch. Antoine Powers, Rob Van Sant, Karan Shrestha, Emmanuel Toom, and Phil Williams. So that's your Classic Physique lineup for the Hurricane Pro this weekend. Again, prejudging is going to start around 11 a.m. Eastern, and finals are going to be 3:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, so let's jump into my top 10. No order. I'm just going to throw names out there, and then I'm going to pick my winner. Just kind of talk through who I think might be in contention for the win. Jorge Tibet, Adeli Anara, Sally Bacage, better known as Bam, by the way. Bam Bacage. Anthony Barbera III, Toto Jong, Zanyar Gotterport, Fong Win, Samuel Paquin, Marcus Perry, and Antoine Powers. Those are my top 10 guys. Now, in terms of the first call out, I'm pretty confident in my top 5 or so, but what I'm really interested in is the battle for the top 3. I think the top 3 is going to be a really, really tough battle. So 2 guys I'm watching out for in my top 3, I think it's the battle in this show between shape and size. I think there are a couple of guys who just have killer shape. That's Adeli Anara. He took 2nd at Tampa and 3rd at Savannah. Then got Zanyar Gotterport, who's got a couple of top 3 finishes under his belt this year. So those guys both have incredible shape, and they're going to be going up against guys who have a lot of size too. So seeing that might be interesting. Guys like Marcus Perry. Marcus Perry is very dense. A lot of density through not only the torso, but also his legs are just crazy dense. If you look at his back shots, like his back double bicep, you're going to see not only a lot of back thickness and width, just a lot of muscle tissue back there, a lot of muscle maturity, but just thick, dense, grainy hamstrings and glutes. He's a guy who I think is very hard to compete with. As as well as Fong Win. Fong Win probably has just as much muscle as anybody in this lineup. Same thing with Toto Zhang. He's coming down from 212. He's a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure. And what I really think is going to come down to is who has the whole package out of all these guys. I think there's a ton of great competitors in this show, but I think there's only one guy who I would say has a complete physique from head to toe, and that's Marcus Perry. And why do I say that? There are a lot of guys who hang their hat on shape. There are a lot of guys who hang their hat on size and thickness, but Marcus Perry has both. He does not have a single weak point, and I'm telling you, I think people are counting him out, and people aren't necessarily aware of him because he's only done one pro show up to this point. And in that pro show, he finished third place behind two Olympians this year. One of them is top four. You probably know him, Urs Kaliczynski. The other guy, Neil Curry, who I think Neil Curry is one of the 10 best classic physiques in the entire world this year. You're going to see him at the Olympia. He's going to place. And then also in that show, Marcus proved himself by beating guys like Carlos Domar, who is going to the Olympia this year, and guys like Steve Laureus. I mean, Steve Laureus has finished top 5 at the Arnold and won multiple pro shows. So I think Marcus is going to win this show. He's definitely no slouch, and a lot of people just aren't aware of him. So that's my pick. Again, you heard it here. I got Marcus Perry taking the Hurricane Pro, punching his ticket to the Olympia. If you like this video or any of my content, make sure you check out my Instagram as well. That's at CPC Bodybuilding on Instagram. Check out my other videos, my other show previews and highlights. Also, make sure you check out the podcast. I'm starting out a podcast. Let me know who you guys would want to see on that podcast. Let me know who you are predicting to win this weekend at the Hurricane Pro. And that's it. Keep it classic, guys. See ya.